All right, so we're going to look at problem number 11 right here. And it says, if f of x is equal to 2/3 times x squared plus 8x, what is the value of f of -3? Now, does anybody remember what type of notation we call f of x? Yeah, that's function notation. So I'm just going to write that's function notation. All right, that's function notation. Now, what are we trying to find? We're trying to find what? F of -3. So literally, all you got to do is you got to do 2/3. I'm going to open up a big old fat parentheses. And you know what? I'll do it a little bit lower so you guys can see it a little bit better, okay? I'm sorry. Here we go. F of -3 would equal 2/3 open parentheses squared plus 8 open parentheses. And literally, what number am I going to plug in right there for x and right here for x? -3. That's it. That's all it means. It's that easy. Now you're like, come on, man. I can't do this in my head. That's okay. Just get your calculator. Look at this. Get your calculator, all right? So I'll go back. Make sure you have it written down. Okay, nice and neat. Regular handy dandy calculator. Here we go. We're going to do 2 divided by 3. Now you could do 2 divided by 3 like that, or you could do the fancy way, alpha y equals enter. Do 2 over 3. All right, and then you go over here, you make a little parentheses right there, and what number will we type it into the old parentheses? So we put a little -3 like that. You close it. All right, and then we got to make it squared, right? So you guys see this x squared button? So you could do squared like that. Okay, that's one way to do it. Okay, so I'm going to go back and delete it so you know there's another way. You could also do this little caret button. Pop it up there. Boom. Got the 2. All right, that's 2 ways to do it. And then what do we have? What? Plus 8. Plus 8, open parentheses, do what? -3, just like that. And voila, there's your answer. Okay? Now, obviously, do you have to do it in the calculator? No, you could do it in your head if you want to. Now, a negative times a negative is a positive, so that's a 9, right? -3 times -3 is 9. Plus, what's 8 times -3? What's that going to be? Negative what? -24, okay? Now, 3 goes into 9 a total of 3 times. 2 times 3 is 6, and 6 minus 24 still gets you to what? A -18. That's how you would do it if you're just working it out by hand, okay? But you could just type it in the calculator. So what does that mean for y'all? What does that mean? That means right here, when there's an empty slot, there's like a blank space, what number are you going to type in? -18. That's it. Now, I want you guys to understand, if I ever give you guys a fill in the blank, if it says -18, I just want you to type in a minus that's on the keyboard, and then type in a 18, and that's it. You don't have to worry about spacing it out or anything like that, okay? Just type in a minus and an 18, okay? All right, moving on down. Oh, look at that. What does that say? Find the slope. So here's what I need you guys to do right now. So get your journals out. Get your journals out. I need you guys to carefully plot a couple of points. Now listen, I am going to tell you the points that I want you to plot, okay? So I'm going to call this x1, y1, because we're going to use Desmos too to train you on Desmos. See this point here? -2, +1. Could you plot -2, +1? And over here, could you put -1, -2, -3? Put -3, -3. So I need you guys to graph this and then make this table, please. All right, so here's what I want you guys to do right now. All right, if you guys go to Desmos test mode, we're going to make a little table together. We're going to make a little table, all right? And the table that we're going to make, a little plus sign to make a table. All right, we look back at our points, which were what, -2 and a 1. So you just type in -2 and a 1, okay? But you see it plot. See how it plots it right there for you. And they're going to do -3 and a -3. And can you guys see how Desmos plots everything for you? So even if you messed up, you could probably able to see if you messed up by like what if you thought it was 3 -3, right? What if you thought it was 3 -3? You're like, wait a second. That point was over there. That's not 3, -3. I didn't get it right. So what you do, just go over here and make it a -3, -3. Okay? Now, does anybody remember the phrase that... Hey, boom, I heard it. I heard it. Way to go. Johnny on the spot right there. Y1 squiggly line, also known as a tilde, right? MX1 plus what letter? Plus the letter B. Boom. What do you notice pops right up there on that screen? A line that passes through those 2 points. Could anybody tell me, what does it say M is equal to? 4. What does that tell us? That tells us our slope is equal to 4. Okay? All right? All right. Well, how would we be able to figure that without having a Desmos? Well, it's pretty easy. All right? It's pretty easy just to do it without Desmos, but I want to make sure you know you could technically use Desmos. So what's the real way I'd like you to be, everybody to be able to do? I want you to be able to go what? Up 4 units and over 1 unit. Right there. Can you guys see it goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, and it goes over how many? So guys, just remember, your M, which is the slope of the line, is always equal to rise over run. It went up 4. It went over 1. 4 over 1 is 4. Now let me tell you something. If I say find the slope of the line and it leaves an empty space for you, what number should you put? You should put a 4. Do not put 4 over 1. All right? Why? Well, why? Isn't it 4 over 1? Yes, that's how you graph it. But what is 4 divided by 1? 4 divided by 1 is just 4. Okay? Now, just remember, slopes of lines, how do you know if it's positive or negative? If it goes up from left to right, it's positive. Look what happens if I change this and I make it a positive 3. Ready? Look. Let's put it positive 3. Now, what was the slope of the line? A negative, because it goes down from left to right. Okay? So literally all you got to do is this. Now here's what happens. Sometimes students will close out a table like this. They'll close it out. So they'll close it out, and then they'll make a new table. Okay? What do you notice about the old table and the... Oh, do you guys see the x2, y2? So if you were going to use it, you'd actually have to change the what? The y1 to a y2, and you have to change the x1 to an x2. Or, check this out. Just don't delete it. So, see these little arrows? If you don't like what you did, just go back. Okay? Just go back, which we will do. So just leave it there. All right? If you need to go back, go back. All right, let's go back to our test right here. Let's go down to the next one. It says find the what? Find the slope of the line. So here's what I'd like you to do. In your journal, I want you to plot 2 points for me, please. Plot 2 points. I'm going to call this the x1. I'll call this the y1. The 2 points I want you to plot is a 0 and a 2 and a 3 and a -3. I need you guys to plot those 2 points. So you should have a graph right here, and you should have those 2 points. Make that happen. All right, so right now what we're going to do, all right, is I'm going to actually type this into Desmos real quick. So let's go to Desmos, and I'm going to take off this though. So I don't want to reveal the answer. So what were our 2 points? What, 0 and a 2, and then it was what, 3 and -3? Correct, like that? Okay. So the reason why I'm using Desmos right here is it helps me be able to graph it a little bit neater, and you guys can see it better. Here's what I'd like you guys to do on your graph paper. Could you please make a triangle, go down a certain amount, and go over, here we go over a certain amount, okay? Because the line that you're creating is this line right here, okay? There we go. That's not bad. Okay, so listen up. This section right here, I want you to label in your journal. I want you to label it as the rise. That's the rise. This is the run. But understand what's happening. Our line's not going up, it's going down. So it's a negative, okay? So could you guys say, put a little arrow there, just like that? See what's happening? It's going down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're going to say the rise is -5. I know it's kind of confusing. Like, how could you rise? Listen, it's just talking about that's going down, so it's negative. But how much is it running across? 1, 2, 3. So the run is 3. So just remember, the m, or the slope, is the change in the y over the change in the x, and it's -5 over 3. That's our slope. Now understand, a calculator sees this as an approximate value of -1 point, and it keeps going on forever. I'll make sure I put 4 so nobody gets freaked out. Okay, there's 4 6's, not 3. Okay, we don't want anybody panicking today. All right, now this is your slope, everybody. That's the slope that you were looking for, okay? So check this out. If I typed in y1, squiggly line or tilde, mx1 plus the letter b, can you guys see right there? There's the slope, there's the y-intercept. So in your journal, could you guys write the actual equation is y equals -5 over 3 x plus 2. That's your equation in slope-intercept form. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. What's our m? It tells us what? It tells us our m value, which is -5 over 3. And it tells us our b value, which is what number? A +2. So it always gives you what? It always gives you the slope and the y-intercept. Now, this is where students will sometimes wonder, like, okay, well, how do you know how to change that decimal to that fraction? So here's what I'd like you to do. Okay? Check this out. Go ahead, right here. I want you guys to type in -1 point, and then just keep typing in 6 over 6 over 6. Just keep going. Look what happens. Eventually, it goes away, right? But if you keep typing it in, look what happens. It comes back. When it comes back, that lets you know that the calculator, all right, it knows it's a repeating decimal. Do you guys see what happens when it's a repeating decimal? It's what, -5 over 3. Okay? Now, if you just did like this -1.6, will it pop up? Yeah, but that's not the same as -1.6 repeating. So what do you have to do? You have to keep doing what? Keep typing it in until finally it shows up. Okay? So if you got one like 0.333, which is a third, right? 0.333333, then eventually you're able to do it, and that would become a third. Does that make sense, everybody? Now, in a calculator, could you do the same thing in a calculator? Absolutely. Check this out. I could do -1 point, and what do you have to do as a student? Just keep typing in what? 6 over and over and over again, quite a long time. Then you can hit the math button and change it to a fraction. It does the same thing. Are you going to be able to allow to use this calculator on the test? Absolutely. Can you use this calculator on the test? Yes. Okay. Back to our 6 weeks test. So what was the answer to this? -5 over 3. Can you guys see how that's a negative slope? Because it goes down from left to right. It goes down 5 units over 3. All right. I'm not making you guys draw this in your journal, okay? Just follow with me. Just follow with me right here. We'll just answer the question and be done with it. So do not write this down. Just follow along right now. How much does that go down, everybody? How much does that go over? That means our answer is -1. So notice, I gave you 2 examples, right? I apologize. It's just that answer. Okay? By the way, we're recording, so if you're talking too loud, you might be recorded. Okay, so. All right, now, does everybody see right now why the answer is -1 over 3? Now, if it was +1 over 3, hey, if it was this answer right here, then it would go up 1 and over 3. That would be answer choice D. If it was a +3, from here I'd go up 3 units and over 1. Everybody see that one? Up 3 over 1. If it's -3, what would happen? It would go down 3 and over 1. Okay, so I'm just kind of changing colors. All right, so you guys, I know it's kind of hard to see, but this one's going to be easy. Is this a positive slope line or a negative slope line? Positive. How much does it go up? 1. How much does it go over? So what does that mean our slope would have to be? 1 over 2. So here's what I want you guys to see. I want you guys to see the difference between a 1 over 2 slope and a 2 over 1 slope. What would a 2 over 1 slope? I'm going to do it in orange. That means you would go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. Does everybody see the stairs that I'm building right there? What is the... All right, it's pretty steep, right? So what would this line be right there? What would the slope of that blue line be? A slope of 2 over 1 versus a slope of 1 over 2. So I need you guys to see the difference between a 1 over 2 and a 2 over 1. This would be answer choice A. All right, moving on to the final questions. I need you guys right now to write this in your journal because now, are these graphed? No. So right now, oh, I meant to highlight it, sorry. I need you guys to put these points in your journal right now. Do that. Okay? And you see it says find the what? Find the slope. So I'm going to write these points down with you, and I'm going to show you how to find slope if I'm just giving you points. Okay, so here we go. -4, comma 7, and -6, comma -4. So make sure you have those points. Now, if you feel more comfortable or confident putting them into a form of a table like where you do in Desmos, do a little x1, y1, that's okay. You can do that too. I'm going to put -4 and a 7 and -6, -4. We're going to show you how to find the slope in Desmos. We're going to show you how to find the slope by hand using the slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay? Doing my best to make it nice and neat. This is my y2, this is my y1, this is my x2, this is my x1. I'm going to go ahead and pause it so you guys, here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you, if you would please, to do your best of labeling, okay? Labeling these. Plug them in and find a slope. See if you guys can find the slope without me doing it. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do it old school. Somebody help me out. What number am I going to plug in for y2? -4, right there. Good. What about y1? 7. Good. What about x2? All right, -6. What about x1? Okay, there we go. Quiet down, everybody. Quiet down. We got -4 minus 7 more, which leads me to a -11. Then we have -6, but wait for it. A negative times a negative equals a positive, so I got to put +4, which makes it a -2. But I know a negative divided by a negative is a positive, so my final answer is what? 11 over 2, and I'm done. So that'd be, boom, 11 over 2. That's how you do it by hand. Now, if you wanted to use the graphing calculator, it's really easy. Check this out. You could do alpha y equals enter. You could open up a big old fat parentheses, plug in our numbers exactly as they appear, which are -4 minus 7, like that. And then right here we had, what was it again? -6. We had -6, and then it was what? Minus and open parentheses, -4. So you could type it in the old calculator exactly as it appears, and look what happens. Wait for it. Boom! Look at that. Beautifully in fraction form. I know improper fraction, but that's the way it's supposed to be, just like that. Then, what's the last way I want you guys to know how to do it? Go to what? Go to Desmos. But what numbers do I have to type in? -6, -4. Okay. Now, guys, it doesn't work. Hey, it doesn't work without doing this y1 tilde mx1 plus b. Okay? Or what happens if you accidentally make a new table? Watch. Right. So if I said -6, what was it? -4, 7, -6, -4. Okay. Now, what would I have to do here? I'd either have to change these to 1s, right? Or change the other ones to 2's. Okay? Now, do you see how where it says 5.5? Just type in what? 5.5, and then do what? Hit that little button, and that changes it to a... There you go. We're done. Whew. Not bad, huh? Not too bad. We have one more. One more. I'm going to see if you guys can do this, okay? One more. Last one. So, yes, the answer was 11/2. Let's check this out. You guys ready? It says, find the slope of a line that passes through these 2 points. So we're doing number 17, guys. Doing number 17. All right, can you try those right there? Those 2. So I'm going to make a table. Going to make a little x1 and a y1. I'm going to put 5 and -10 and 5 and -4. I'm going to label these x1, y1, x2, y2. You still have 5 minutes, guys. Still have 5 minutes, okay? Don't get too antsy, all right? I'm sorry? Yeah, we only have 5 minutes. I know. Well, time flies when we're working hard, okay? All right, guys, what number am I going to plug in for y2? -4, perfect. What am I going to plug in for y1? -10. What am I going to put for x2? 5. x1. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Look at this. -4 plus 10 is the number 6. 5 minus 5 is 0. What? 6 divided by 0? Huh. How about this? You guys ready? You guys ready? Let's type it into Desmos. See what Desmos says. All right, let's check it out. Let's go to Desmos. What is it? What were the ordered pairs, everybody? 5, -10. 5, negative what? Uh-oh. 5, -10, 5, -4. By the way, do you see how this is right here? Everybody see where it says? Oh. So we got to be careful here. Do you guys see if I actually connected those? What kind of line would it create if I actually connected? An undefined slope. Do you guys see that? So what would students type in and to get it wrong? -1 point. So if you guys see undefined, hey, don't, yeah, it's undefined. Because here's what I need you guys to understand. You can never have a denominator that is equal to 0. It'll never work. So guys, the answer is undefined. Now, when is it going to be 0? When it's totally flat. When up here, when the numerator equals 0, the answer will be 0. So 0 will have to be where? In the numerator. When is it undefined? When 0 is where? In the denominator. That's what I need you guys to understand, okay? So if you guys work out a problem and you get 0 in the numerator, the answer is 0. But if it's in the denominator, the answer is undefined. You need to make a mental note in your notes somewhere about the difference between where the zeros are. Okay? So check this out. Last thing I'm going to do. I'm going to change the x's, and I'm going to make the y's the same. Ready? Like -10 and -10. Do you guys see what happens? So when the y's are the same, the slope is 0. When the x's are the same, you're going to see undefined. Okay? You'll see undefined here. You won't see undefined here. You'll see undefined right there. And that's all I can tell you. All right? So make sure. What are we going to be covering? Let's do a quick little review. Ready? Domain and what? Domain and range, function notation, and solving for a specific variable, and how to plug in numbers for function notation, and slope. That's what you need to study tonight, everybody. Y'all have a good day.